Hey, you
Hello,
guys.
everybody.
Hey, Mike Natazzi. So you guys already know today we were supposed to be doing a SIGLERinPLACE. We have a handful of big deadlines coming up, a handful of things going on day to day as we try to transition out of the business model we had before to the business model that we're moving towards. So a handful of logistical things about shifting to print on demand and all that other stuff, and him finishing book 7 has slowed us down a little bit.
Jen Hawthorne, what's up, lady? What's going on?
Hey.
So
We're counting on the fact that you guys tell us all the time that you'd rather hang out with us than not. And we're having an office hours today because we just simply didn't have the time to get the whole script prepped because Scott's super close to finishing a book. That said, Mr. Mike Natazzi, I see you there in the chat room, and I would like to say I have to hide Cheetos from Scott sometimes, or he'll eat everything that comes in. So we're having some of the treats that you sent.
Mr. Adamus, hello, everybody.
Chocolatey treats that you guys sent tonight because it's been a stressful day.
So this is not as polished of a setup as SIGLERinPLACE, which is why we didn't have time for SIGLERinPLACE. So I may be tweaking stuff as we go. Usually the idea for office hours is just me to hang out, but I've been hanging out here all by myself all day long, so A volunteered to come up and hang out with me and hang out with all of you guys. So that's about it. So I've been writing all gosh darn day long, and been writing all gosh darn week long. GFL book 7.
And how is that going? It's going pretty well because it's almost done.
Well,
this is the important note.
This draft is almost done.
Well, right. The draft that you would send off to the.
I will not lie. There's stuff I'm not happy with, and Ad Cook been binging, listen of all GFL series on Audible. Sweet, way to go. There's some stuff I'm not happy with, and when I'm going to toot my own horn for a moment, this will sound grandiose, but it's not meant to be. When you get deeper into a series and the plot threads are so intricate and threaded, and there's lots of callbacks and tertiary, quaternary characters, characters you never thought you'd hear from again, suddenly pop up. And the bonus of that, the positive in that is it provides this, it gives you as the reader this warm fuzzy inside, this sense of inclusion. You're all sitting, you're like Chris Evans, like, I understood that reference. And you're delighted, and it's a handshake between the author and the reader. And the reader, it just helps you make you feel cool reading things like, oh, that one dude, what book was that dude in? And then you go back and you look it up and it's like, oh, and I think that all came from my comic book days when, you got the one runty little, no offense, the one runty little secondary villain who shows up, 4 years later and now is all super powered and it's balling. Anyways, I get distracted. So the problem is all of this multiple plot threading, these backstories all coming together. Sometimes things don't resonate the way you thought they would when you get to the end of the book, and I'm kind of at that phase now. So I got to get this done. I'm probably being overly critical of it, like I often am. It's going to go to A. It's going to go to Big John Viscara,
right?
And then we're gonna go from there. So
and right now, if you guys, I know many of you run a small business or are part of a small business, and right now, January, February, March is sort of a difficult time for small businesses. Well, for any business, but a bigger business has a bigger, accounting department or finance department or whatever. So unfortunately, the other part is that I am pretty snowed in the weeds with a ton of work to do for our business, for taxes, where, as we've mentioned, we're shifting to a new platform, all sorts of stuff like that. So I can't help him much anyway, because if he's in the story, he's in the story, but I can be sort of ancillary support. Like I can, make sure the dogs are walked and lunch is done. And if he needs somebody to talk about, I've mentioned this before, if he needs to talk about a plot point, I am the first person to get spoiled, and that's fine with me. Mm-hmm. As it happens, I know some of the big plot points for 7. But I don't actually know the story at this point. He has worked, he and John Bizcar, who is our continuity editor, worked very closely together moment by moment through the story. And for 7, since the universe is so expansive and the story has so many characters in it, I think he and John are the people who know the story the best. So all I can do is
there's a lot of stuff in this that
ready player. Can
John,
I help?
A lot of stuff that John doesn't know. He hasn't read this draft yet. He read the original draft of book 6, which had a lot of this stuff in it, but then book 6 became 7, and 7 became anyways, 7, 8, and 9 at any rate. So I'm fried, and we're communicating that I'm fried.
Robin Hudson
hopefully
in the
we'll be
house.
done
Hello, Robin Hudson.
tomorrow to be able to send this off. But a couple quick things to track. Number 1, no Story Smack this weekend. We're pushing that off till July. Because I now, as soon as I finish this deadline, I have another deadline that is due June 1st for the Crypt Book 1.
True.
So you're going to be probably seeing more of these office hours where we just flip the switch, jump on, and jibber jab and hang out because I ain't got time.
Well,
I ain't got that kind of time.
And another thing is next week, we are actually going to be traveling. We had to postpone a New Year's Eve trip because of personal issues and Omicron. And we still have to use all those points. So we're going to see our friends in the Bay Area who are part of our bubble. We've been there a couple of times. I'm not sure that we'll do anything next week, but if we do a cast next week, it will surely also be in office hours. You guys know our friends in the Bay Area, Stephen King, who plays the role of Brian Clouser in the recorded version of Blue Balls. And Maria Walters, Maria D'Souza, who is my best friend and is also the co-writer on the script for The Problem with Apu. So we may not have a cast next week, but we may, if anything, have an office hours like this that may or may not include some of our friends. Because things are getting very, very busy on the USS Empty Set.
So Story Smack, no Story Smack till July. Rob Otto's just too important for us. He actually has things to do on Saturdays.
Actually, technically speaking, the next 2 months are not us. It's him.
It's him. So we got that going. And what else do I need to do? Oh, of course, ladies and gentlemen, I do have to take a chance to plug my cousin's band. Let's go ahead and... there we go. That's where we need to go. And then see if this works. Let me turn the volume down.
Hey,
those of you who are not aware,
hey, Maria.
The band Super Weapon.
Profession.
Well, we got to go back to the beginning, guys. If you haven't heard the beginning.
Spartans, what is your profession?
This song is up for a San Diego Music Award for the Best Rock Song of 2021 for the 2022 SDMAs. You can go to...
You can go to
Hold on. Just
DOSD.com.
pausing this because we have a spammer, and we're going to kill the spammer. Bye, bitch. And then, why is this not coming up? I don't understand. Can't do that joke or can't accent. Vamp woman.
So you go to
There we go.
Oh, there we go. Super Weapon SDMA. If you go to bit.ly/superweapon SDMA, you can vote every day, every calendar day. I have it on my calendar as a reminder. It just goes till the 15th. And then when I vote, I remind him to vote. So, share that with your pals and vote every day.
Every day up through March 15th. My guitarist really wants to win this thing. That's him. That's Sevi. Mm-hmm. That's my cousin. He crazy. Copying my facial hair and everything all the time.
I know. Well, because you're just so attractive.
But he's got that hat, though. And he's got them glasses, though.
Oh, well, he needs that. He needs the extra accoutrement because he's not you.
Well, that's true. That's
Yeah.
true. You got to have something.
Even though that we're not doing a full Sigler in Place, Melissa Masucci, thank you so much for telling us. Happy birthday yesterday. I hope you had a great day, and I hope you have either partied last weekend
I may have blocked the wrong
or
person.
partying this weekend.
I'm going to pause this. We'll come back to this. I may have blocked the wrong person again. So if you
Hopefully
if you feel like you just got blocked, please email info@emptyset. Let me get that fixed because I have no way to. No, this is a different person. Look at this. We're getting Twitch spam. How wonderful. That means we're getting attention. It's good.
So
cool.
Because today was a very stressful day at the Empty Set, the USS Empty Set. We're having eating on camera, but it's all candy. And the Natazis last year were very, very gracious to send us all sorts of great candy, and I have to put some of it away or he'll eat it all at the same moment. So we're having peanut butter cups that they sent and also Reese's Pieces that they sent. And then Jennifer Sherwood, I'm having my favorite candy on earth, which the Natazis also have sent me because they both know that I love it.
Yeah, we got somebody offering, we got a couple people offering to be Twitch mod. Twitch mods, don't know my ass from a burnt biscuit when it comes to Twitch. Would you mind emailing that offer to info@emptyset? We would appreciate it. Once this basically once 2022 is done, because I will be doing nothing but sniffing a keyboard for the next 6 months, which is a good thing. It's a good thing. I may whine about it, but it's a good thing. We would like to get more present on Twitch and do more stuff. So we'd appreciate that help. So next, we promised you we're going to show you a lamp, baby. Is Big John Viscar in the house? John, if you're in a Twitch.
I'm not sure. And is there anywhere up here we can plug it in or no? There used to be.
I'll figure it out.
Okay.
You're going to have to vamp, though.
All right.
Yeah.
So I'll vamp. I'll actually tell you guys, anybody who is in the chat room tonight or is watching this after the fact who wears makeup, I know this sounds crazy, but bear with me for a second because it's true. So a lot of you folks who wear makeup, no matter who you are or what your gender or whatever, if you love lipstick or, you often get chapped teeth or whatever, I have this to tell you. This is a CoverGirl. It's like $4. And I have my contacts in them, which are new, so I'm not sure if I'll be able to read which color this is. This is Cherryish You, I think. Yes. And so it looks like this. It's a CoverGirl thing. It's $4.37. And this color is the red one, which I love so much. But they make a berry one, which is absolutely a complete sub in for the Yves. If you're a person who really, really loves makeup, you understand that there's a Yves Saint Laurent black cherry. Dark cherry lipstick, and it's really expensive and really hard to find. And the CoverGirl version that looks like this in the pink container that's called Berry Me Up, I think, is a complete perfect spoof. So I got that and I loved it, and then I got every other color too, and it's super cheap.
I will admit I did not think ever on the show we'd be talking about lipstick, but there we go. It's up. So the lamp, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, let's do a little jump in the Wayback Machine. Those of you who have the hardcover version of The Rookie, which looks like this, are way back. There was an ad in The Rookie. Let's see if I can angle this. Let me try this again.
Yeah, there you go.
This ad, anyways, is for Junkie Gin. Turn this for a second. Boop.
There we go. Nice work.
A little bit there. Anyways, if you guys got that. So since we are in office hours, we thought we would show you a delightful present made for us by the goddamn dog sitter.
You noticed that light that just came on.
Go ahead and show it to him, baby.
You guys. Oh my God, you guys. My friend Amy, and I'll turn this off in a minute too, but my friend Amy is so creative and so crafty.
Good job, babe.
And she created for Christmas for a handful of her great good friends, she created individualized lamps where we, during lockdown, there were 4 of us. We exchanged cocktails once a month, and we each took turns, and we dropped them off in little vials at everybody's house, and then we would get on Zoom and have a cocktail hour. And so for Christmas in 2021, Amy made everybody lamps, but she, of course, is well familiar with our teeny tiny place.
Turn
yeah, I
it
will.
off,
I
and
just
then
wanted
maybe
to see. Yeah.
It looks
There you go.
exactly like the Kevin Capizzi art that was done in the Rookie hardcover. It is so cool. No, we are not selling these.
Except
no, zero.
It's a
Not.
lamp, so also this is going to be a little bright for you guys, but worth it. Wait,
forgot
there
about
we
that.
go. Junkie Gin. Wait, how do I do this? Maybe like that.
Oh, that's
There we
perfect.
go.
That's perfect. It's in the lampshade.
And what does
Tastes
it say?
like a touchdown every time.
Every time. So she made this gorgeous lamp for us. I actually have hesitated showing it this whole time, mostly because Amy does not make lamps for a living. But she was like, you know what? People really want them in the, it costs no object. Please let me know. So this is beautiful. It sits right by my desk every single day. And I love it so much. And I thought office hours would be a great time to show it off. Amy actually reached out to John Viscara when she was thinking about making a drink because he loves scotch and I don't drink much scotch and I love bubbles and neither one of those come in the same bottle. So she was trying to figure out what to do for us for Christmas. And he helped her find the Junkie Gin picture and make sure that it was great. So that's our beautiful lamp. I
dead
love
on.
it to death.
Our lights are goofy today. I don't know why.
No, it's okay. That's okay. Oh, she's in the chat room too. So Amy Reed, the goddamn dog sitter, is in the chat room and made that gorgeous lamp.
Okay. All right, so let's move on to one of the points of office hours. It's just an open forum. It's as if I'm your professor in English, also literature, also history, also engineering, and you have a midterm coming up, and you're allowed to come in during a specific time. My office hours would be 6 p.m. Pacific to 7 p.m. Pacific, and you can ask the professor anything that you want to ask, or we'll chat. Doesn't have to be about Siglerism. We can chat about anything. Jen Hawthorne in the chat room saying she misses all of us from Dragon Con. Hopefully we'll get back to Dragon Con someday. Hopefully, but I'm pretty sure I'll never do anything but write for the rest of my life, every minute of every day. That's what I will be doing. That's the way it is.
It has been a really, really, really interesting couple of weeks while we figure out, even if the rest of the world isn't locked down in 2022, we are almost assuredly still locked down in 2022 to finish our deadline.
Yes,
so that's
Maria,
okay.
This will be on the test. Everything you're hearing today will be on the test. Don't forget the Battle of Trafalgar. Okay, that's the one you got to keep in mind. Battle of Trafalgar. That's what we're talking about. All right, what do we got, ladies and gentlemen? So obviously the world's going to shit. We got that going on. You cannot find me in office hours. You can all kiss my ass. Kiss it.
I love that everybody in office hours are giving us sassy questions. My brother, Jude Stenson, who's in the chat room, he asked one or two. This was the thing. Well, this was the thing that we did growing up, where we would hold together. Either we would hold strategically one French fry from McDonald's, or we would strategically hold together two. And the answer, the question was one or two. And if you got it right, I actually don't remember what the answer was, but I understand it wasn't great if you lost. So I'm going to assume that maybe he either punched me or ate my French fries, punched me in the arm or ate my French fries, or vice versa, if we got it right or wrong.
Big Nasty's asking, did I try the Kraken hot sauce? I believe I did, and I believe it was terrible.
It was too hot. Yeah, it was too just hot. We haven't tried the Smack Your Mama sweet sauce, though.
I'm not too much of a man to admit it. It was terrible. It was hot. It was just straight hot, not my jam at all. But yes, we did try, and thank you so much for sending it. I like trying hot sauces from all over the place. It's great, but not all of them work out.
Yeah, one of them they sent a handful. It was beautiful, and we still haven't tried the marinade, the sweet slap your mama marinade, but that's coming soon. But that was great, and you enjoyed much of the candy, but I had to save some of it.
Very, very important question from Chris. Mr. McWhite, this will give you an idea just how slammed we are right now. He's asking if I have had a chance to look at my brackets yet for the NCAA tournament. Are the brackets out? Has there been a selection committee thing yet? Are the teams picked? I don't even know. All I know is a couple blockbuster trades came through in the NFL. So I saw those. So Russell Wilson is on his way to Denver, and Aaron Rodgers staying in Green Bay. Carson Wentz is off to Washington, and the Packers franchise tag Devontae Adams. So that's all going to be very interesting. But I've not followed basketball at all. So Chris, let us know, are the brackets out yet? Ed Cook asks, how do I stay so skinny? It's because I'm hyper and stressed out all of the friggin' time.
That's true.
Dr. Ronnie C., I was wondering how extensive your series Bible for the Galactic Football League is. Do you have a giant pile of information for all the games in every season? Two answers to that. Answer number one, we do have a series Bible. Its name is Big John Viscara, and it tracks everything. It's this awesome wetware that we have concocted that is actually, it's a biological learning machine. It's got an amazing repository of information. It can store a great deal, and it's good at making the associations. You're like, oh, you want to do this, but then there's this thing over here you wrote 15 years ago that contradicts that. So that is a very big part of it. The other big part of it, of course, is the SIGLERpedia, which I use all the time. Let me show you guys that real quick. Okay, so tab. All right, let's go. Since people ask, let's take a quick look. Browser. Boom. SIGLERpedia at siglerpedia.scottsigler.com. There's also a link from scottsigler.com, the main thing. You can go to this site. You can find all kinds of super cool stuff. If you want to search for Scalorno. There in the GFL. Search for Scalorno, and then boom. things in the way here. Let's do this. Yeah, I'm high tech, you guys. So you see all this information on the Salerno, culture and history, position cell in the GFL. So I use this a lot. I actually use this quite a lot because I've gotten to the point where I can't remember all of the stuff. So having it available. So as Dr. Danny Baker phrased it, the moistware that is Big John Descara, yes, and then the Siglerpedia. And then I do retain some degree of knowledge myself as well. Shannon asks, will Friday's Monster of the Week happen again? That was a live stream show we did. We did 20 episodes, maybe something like that.
Yeah, maybe. And
It'll be back someday, but probably not in 2022. We have too much going on, and I can't seem to put GFL 7 to bed, which is now pushing into the crypt. And seeing as everybody's been waiting for the crypt for 10, 15 years, we got to focus on that. So I'm dropping everything and focus. It's the crypt and the band. That's it. Sorry.
AdCook21, when will Siglerpedia be updated and when will we have Quith Queen art? I will tell you, number one, the Siglerpedia is often updated, but it is a fan-based effort, a love-based effort. I wouldn't say fan. I mean, John Viscar does a lot of it. So it depends on his time. However,
this is a never if you want to answer that.
Yeah, I know. I was going to. So Quith Queen art, currently no one but Scott, and I'll repeat that for anybody listening, including me, no one but Scott knows what a Quith Queen looks like. And if I had to guess, based on my efforts to find out, it won't be at least as long as the series lasts, is active and still publishing, and it may be never. We may never find out what that looks like because the point of that is not what she looks like. That's not what matters. It's what she did to get there that matters. So at least that's what I've been told. So there is no Quith Queen art coming to the Siglerpedia anytime soon. And the rest of it should be updated when we have time.
And Siglerpedia does get updated every now and then. There's some really interesting... The interesting dynamic now is there's actually a secret agent wiki. And only certain people have access to it. Wetware Viscara has access to it. And because a lot of the stuff we're bouncing, a lot of the things I put together these big picture concepts, and then John's job is to go through those and kind of be like, okay, this contradicts this contradicts this. You wanted to get this thing in here, and I don't see that in here. Is that intentional? So John's just kind of this living sounding board. But so the secret agent wiki is so we can track all of this stuff that we haven't put out yet. For example, we've got hundreds of pages on the Stone Wolves, but we haven't put that from the Secret Agent Wiki out into the main wiki yet. So eventually we'll start updating things again. Let's see. Vaughn Lowe asks, how do you do the football results, random die rolls, or do you base it on real games? So this
is a great question.
The football results are, keep an eye on that. Brown Cannon, we'll ask that one next.
I will.
The football results are crafted in a way to maximize the dramatic tension. So it's all worked out. There actually is a literal Commissioner Froese. He was a junkie, and he is now the commissioner. And I thought it would be easy to do a schedule. I was like, how hard can it be? Yeah, there's 24 teams. Let's get this.
I've watched football my whole life.
I've watched football. Schedule's no big deal. Schedules are friggin' difficult. And then when you want to add to that, I need certain teams to win at certain points to create a certain win-loss record, to create certain dramatic elements to lead you through the book. That shit's impossible. And Commissioner Rob Froese actually does that for us.
He does not have red teeth, and he is an average-size human man.
He might have red teeth. I don't know.
He does not. He's a lovely human being. But yeah. Scott told Rob, now I think they're done with their progression.
Really a good question. Let's do this one. This one. These are great questions, guys.
Yeah. So Scott tells Rob Froese what he needs. For example, early on, I need this matchup, this final, this semifinal to be the Orbiting Death and the Krakens, or the Isis Ice Storm and the Krakens, or I need this to happen mid-game. In this or mid-season for this game. And Rob will take a few of those points and fit everything else in around it. And when Scott says, oh my goodness, that's kind of impossible. There are like season-making programs on the internet, things like that. But when you have to say, in Game 7, I need this matchup to happen, that's very impossible to do. And Rob does it so well and has done it so well. And we're so lucky that he was able to do that for us because it made the rest of the GFL seasons possible.
It's a little quick, funny side story. So he does all this work for us up through GFL Book 5. And then in GFL Book 6, I've told you guys, does not have an enormous amount of football in it.
My
So now
mom
we're
was
on
in the
GFL
chat
Book
room.
7. Your mom's in the chat room?
My
Hey,
mom's,
Mom.
hey, Zippy, nice
So-
to see you. I love you.
There were probably, I think I'd probably gone 3 or 4 years without talking to Rob. So I emailed Rob. I was like, hey, you up for another schedule? He's like, well, I don't know. I don't remember how to do it. But he remembered how to do it. So it turned out okay. So let's go to Bronkinus says, hey, Scott, I keep rereading Ancestor. I love that shit so much. Will you ever make a sequel? If not, got any mean, nasty creatures with big teeth in the making? I absolutely, should I live long enough, I will make a sequel to that. I desperately want to make, not only do I want to make a sequel, I've got a sequel and a prequel planned for it. Clayton Detweiler prequel, where it should just get would be super fun. So my plan is to get those done as soon as I get done with the Crypt and move on to other things. But right now it's finish GFL 7, 5 books of the Crypt, GFL 8, GFL 9, I think I'm up to 9. And it just, it's
Right now
it's
we're up to
madness.
9.
I've already told you guys a million times before, I'll never live long enough to write the ideas I have. Now I'm not sure I'll live long enough to write the books I've actually sold. Because there's another contract that is in the works. It's percolating. We're waiting for it to be finalized. So now I'm going to have 6 books that are all going to be due within a couple of years.
Yeah, many books that are due within the next 3 years.
Shut
Can
up,
you check
Tori.
that little yellow warning there
There's-
while I talk
it's-
to you guys?
there's nothing I can do about it. Keep going.
He will absolutely live long enough to finish the books that he is contracted to write and the series that already exist. That said, we have a database. It used to be something called Bento, which was an Apple product. Now it's called
Linux.
and we cannot
Linux.
say the word Ninox without saying, unless I do it very precisely. We always like, hey, are you in the Ninox database?
Linux.
We can't. I don't
Gonna
know
miss
why.
it.
We
Gonna
cannot.
miss it. Noonan. Linux.
Linux. We can't do it. Anyway, he's got this database in a program called Ninox, which is, I don't know, 70 stories deep or something.
Thanks, Tori.
It's the way that we keep track of, he gets to, if he has a great idea and he knows it's a great idea and he wants to elaborate on it, the first thing, the requirement before we talk about it as a potential publication or a potential story that we put into the schedule is it must go into the database.
You know what? We got it's time. We need to have a discussion about your mother.
Uh-oh, what's happening? Ninox.
So A's mom, Zippy. Zippy's a big fan, a big reader. She reads everything. She often gets stuff before anybody else gets it. Like A gets it, John gets it, and then as soon as it's ready, we have to send it to Zippy because Zippy's over there going like, and she's not a Jewish mother, but she sounds like my Jewish mother's like, I don't know how long I'll last. Maybe I could get the story. I don't want to die before it's finished. She just asked, she says, remember my shelf life. Remember her shelf life when considering Ancestor 2. Thanks, Zippy. That's very positive. That's what we want to hear all the time.
It's totally true, though. It's totally true. She's the best ever. Also, once, back in the day, my mom and dad lived in Seattle. Or south of Seattle, and Scott was on tour. So we were not even working together, I don't think. And I went up so that I could visit them, but I figured I could see the tour. And when I said that, she was like, oh, I love this. But, oh, no, we must have been working together. Oh, I love that. I love that. If he's doing a Seattle stop and a Portland stop, you should stay in, we live in between those two places. You should do that, which is what we do. And I think it's going to be fine. You know, I stay up late hanging out with my folks. Scott goes to his room and does his thing, whatever. And then the next day, I wake up late, and my mother has been grilling Scott on which book is next and what happens with Gian. And she was kind of crazy, but she was put under a lot of pressure. And I was like, oh, my God, I'm never going to get another job from Scott Sigler. But it worked out okay. Because my mom is the best.
Yeah, it worked out pretty good. Yes, Reagan, I'm taking screenshots because the questions show up in the chat, and sometimes chat goes in bursts, so I don't want to miss anybody's questions. I've probably missed a bunch already. Let's go to the questions I've got. Brian Pierce asks, Scott, now that you have lived through a real pandemic, how will that change when you write about a disease breakout? Frankly, not at all. I stand by my story. If you guys go read Pandemic, book 3 of the Infected trilogy, I believe you will see. And although it's a wild, crazy disease that stretches credulity of biology, it doesn't stretch it by that much. And the basis of it, the building blocks of that virology and how the pathogen spreads. Not only that, but the cultural ramifications of the spread. And I think if you guys reread Pandemic, you may be surprised at the chat room Twitter arguments I have of people in the book. Remember, this book came out in 2015. People in the book making fun of other people in the book who believe they should take the medicine that the government tells them to take.
Yeah.
And these people don't take the medicine, and then these people wind up in a bad way. So I'm not changing a damn thing. I got it friggin' exactly right. Exactly right.
It goes exactly as we've seen it go. The only difference is the government in Scott's book has more unilateral leeway than actual governments have. So the solution, while dramatic, if that could have worked for us, I don't think our government would have been able to do that, but that's okay too.
Zach Kirkpatrick, I'm also can't wait for the new GFL book to be done. So I missed any questions here?
There's a handful.
Okay,
I have Joshua Lawyer. Hello, Joshua. Please say hello to Andrea for us. Joshua says, aloha, is there any hockey in the GFL era? Anything like surfing or skating, things like that? I haven't finished the Stone Wolves yet, FYI.
The problem with most sports in the GFL world is there's no diversity. Hockey, soccer, and basketball are going to be dominated by Salerno. They're fast, they're agile, they're fast. They can jump crazy heights. So there's really no competing with them in any of those sports. Hockey in particular. If you could teach a Salerno to skate, forget about it. You're not going to be. They're going to be all skate. They're all going to be Gretzky's. So. No, there is hockey in the GFL world, but it's either all human or, they're just, it's all this Salerno. So let's go through 4X. I'm not taking pictures of you per se, just of your bottom. Let's see.
Sean Dyer had a question about Rob Froese.
Yep.
What is up with Froese's red teeth? Oops. What is up with Froese's red teeth? Any plans to ever actually address why they're red?
Nope. Rob Froese's red teeth and Quith Queen's. Listen. I'm having heart palpitations just trying to finish this goddamn thing. There's going to be some stuff that goes unsaid.
So Quith Queens are an interesting thing because they're, what are they? Is that self-hermaphroditic? What is the phrase for what?
The Quith race is sequential hermaphroditism. Sequential hermaphrodites, like clownfish.
That's a much bigger question. But when I asked about why Rob Froese's teeth were red a million years ago, Scott's answer was, why are your eyes green? Why is your skin white? If there are people who are also humans, they have a different color skin or different color eyes, it's fine, right? We only know Rob doesn't mean they're the only ones, but
no, not the only one.
But I think the answer is it's normal for him, and there's a handful of things like that in the GFL. At least from when I'm asking Scott questions, that the reason it is what it is that in that universe at that time in human and alien timelines, it isn't worth asking the question because it's just normal. Is kind of the idea.
4X, the main signifier for Tower is the bleach white skin, the actual white skin. Like we're white, but we're actually pink. They are actually white. And the teeth thing, probably never going to explain it. You guys will have to live with it or imagine on yourself. Jen Hawthorne says the chat room's getting naughty. Surprise. Probably because she's here.
Because nobody gets fined $1 in the chat room.
Citizen Gold says, given you won't change anything at all with pandemic, when do you think we can expect nukes?
I don't want to know.
Poorly timed question, sir, because I thought my days of expecting nukes were in my childhood and in my junior high years. And now we are back on that wonderful tip yet again with a fucking asshole
fuck sting when you
with
need him.
thousands of nuclear warheads throwing a fucking hissy pissy fit. And it's not, I think we could see it we see one within 2 weeks to a month. I really do. So we'll see. Hopefully I'm completely wrong. No, David Lamb, they're not albino. The people from Tower are not albino. Albino is with not albino and lycism. Albino, the pink eye, right? Is that correct? No color in the eye.
Albinism, yeah.
This is the Tower people have a genetic modification, germline genetic modification for their skin, which makes it be that white, which was a artificial modification introduced to better manage the particular wavelength of the star that Tower orbits around. So there's a couple of them. There's the tower all white, and I forget where Don Pine is from all of a sudden. And the blue, those skin are specifically because those stars, through the centuries, these plants have been around, were causing skin cancers and all these other things. Somebody got the bright idea, well, if we tailor our melanin to this particular star's wavelength, we'll be better. So that's how you wind up with the different colors.
Well, and then there's also the idea that we as a human species on Earth, that separation of what the melanin needs of a human being are in specific places on the planet gave us diversity that someday we'll be fucking grateful for. I'm fucking grateful for every day, but come on, I'll take the fine. Once we know that there's a benefit to managing your melanin and we achieve space travel, if we can dial it in, and remember the SIGLERverse is a place where Red Man has already happened. We know how to genetically modify DNA safely, at least somewhat, especially about skin tone. Prepping that humanity, especially if it's a generation ship going into other galaxies and things like that, that helps this species, this human species, survive, but it also makes them much more pristine. So they're pristine white, or they're pristine blue, or Somalia Midori is this beautiful amethyst purple, because we chose that, unlike, the genetic modification that comes by breeding.
So I is the pure amethyst color. That is the result of genetic combination. It's, this blue person mated with this white person, the bleach white person, and at some point there was a perfect harmony of those where one was not dominant or regressive. Is that right? Is that the right word?
Recessive.
So, recessive. Remember the timeline that you guys can actually find at Siglerpedia. There's a timeline of the galaxy. Some of these plants have been around for 300-400 years, 500 years. There are mutations. There are adaptations. There are mutations. And the amethyst skin is one where there's something about the amethyst skin that pushes a lot of people's sexual buttons. Like I call it face math. Like there are people that you look at and you're like, holy crap, is that person hot? And not everybody might think that they are hot, but like for your brain, you're like, wow, look at that. And you don't think about, I like the eye distribution, the position of the nose and the narrowness of the mouth. None of that. But like A has insane face math for me. The first time I looked at it, I was like, that's a goddamn good looking human being right there. And
even though I was mouthing off to him.
Yeah. The amethyst skin happens to be one of those things where it's rare and it pushes all of the genetic reproduction urges. So they're highly sought after. They are objectified all across the galaxy by other human beings. And when you get that, you get more people reproducing, and you get a it's not a survival advantage, an adaptive advantage, a selection advantage. You get a selection advantage, and then that can reproduce. All right, we got a ton of questions. We got to get back to this. Let's see. Adcook says he appreciates the Melvin. Actually, I don't know if Adcook is a he, she, or they. Adcook appreciates the Melvin Morris reference. Melvin Morris is a fantastic American hero. You guys should look him up. You may have read about Melvin Morris and the Stone Wolves. You'll read about just a brief reference of Melvin Morris and the Gangster, and probably in GFL Book 7. But just a awesome cat. Check that out.
And
thanks, Sean. Saturli 6 for the blue skin. Thank you very much.
There it is. Yeah.
Yes.
Speaking of Melvin Morris, if you don't know who he is, I know it's March, not February, but I would just take 2 seconds and Google, because there's so much you can learn about people you never knew existed, and you'll never forget it. And so I would recommend you do that before the movie comes out, which I think will happen, hopefully.
Is there a Melvin Morris movie coming out?
I'm hoping.
Okay.
I'm hoping.
That'd be great. Let's see. This style, Kim says, this style sip is just as fun.
Kim. Thanks, Kim. It is definitely easier on us. I know a lot of you have sent in questions or photos, and I've had to email you back and say, hey, we do the script on Tuesdays, and that's an interactive thing. I write most of it. He edits it. That's why if you send things in 2 hours before the show, I can't share it with you. What were you saying?
Sean, yes, it's leucism, which I believe is pronounced lycism. That is the white here. He pasted in the chat room. Let me paste it in the chat so everybody else can look it up. This is a different kind of pigmentation, modification, adaptation. And I can't say too much about it because if I live long enough, Rob Otto and I have a screenplay designed around this. But I can't tell you the title, because every time I talk about anything, it winds up getting the ether hears about it and gives it to somebody else, and somebody else gets to make
That's
that
actually
thing.
true. But
Happens
have
all
you
the time.
never mentioned it?
Nope.
I'm not going to mention it this
Never
time.
mention- I will never
Sometimes I
mention
screw
it.
this up.
Never
Okay.
mention it.
All right, fine. Do you have a favorite song?
I have many favorite songs. It depends on the day. Right now, for a long time, I'd settle on my favorite songs, which is Maylene and the Sons of Disaster. It's called "I'm on It," and it is an amazing rock and roll song. Vamp for a second, baby. I'll call it up.
So I will say this. Music is so important to Scott's creativity that when we first met, he had been writing and he had been a musician for a while. But when we first met, he was just doing writing. And part of that was time management, ADHD management, that sort of thing. And finally, I was like, dude, when he moved to
Sorry, baby. Sorry.
when
My
he moved
bad.
to San Diego, I was like, he was like, we were unpacking things and I found his, what is it called? Rock band? Music?
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Rocksmith.
Rocksmith. No, Rock Band is the one with the
Rock Band
fake
is the one
guitar.
with the fake instruments.
Yeah,
Rocksmith is the one with the real.
So I unpack a Rock Band guitar, a little plastic with buttons and stuff, if you've ever played that video game. And I'm like, what is this? And he's like, oh, that's Rock Band. And I'm not a video game person. So I was like, okay, can you play it? He's like, oh, I haven't done it in ages. I can't get into that. I'll do nothing but play music. And then anyway, there's this thing called Rocksmith.
Damn it. Continue, baby.
And Rocksmith is the same sort of thing, but you use your actual guitar and you plug it into the system. And so I was like, you have to do this. And he's like, I cannot do this. I was like, you have to do this.
Okay.
Hang on one second. And now, 7 years later, or 6 years later, music is an integral part of his creativity because it balances out. If any of you guys are creative, I know many of you are, you have that 80-20 rule that you should be hoping for. Get it 80% accurate, the 20 will forgive itself. But creatives have a hard time doing that because it has to be perfect before you let it out into the world. And music helps him forgive that perfectionism a little bit. It balances out his creative drive. So if any of you are creative and stuck, I would suggest doing another creative thing. Sorry for the long
No worries. That's all right. We're going to get to Forex. Let me take a picture of this. That's a bigger question, but I want to share this story. This is a fun story. And Kim Anson says, so I'm taking a wild guess that Rainbow Bridge won't be written in our lifetime.
No.
I can't promise that. I want to write it so bad. The problem is I want to write everything so bad. So let's go ahead and go to this. We'll go back to Maine for a second, and I will share with you some of my musical influences. So I, being a small town kid, we had one concert venue where Danny Baker and I grew up, and there was no seeing anything. Whereas got to see stuff all through junior high, all through high school.
My
She lived
concert
in
venue
New
was
York.
Madison Square Garden. Yeah.
So
Or the
when I
Roxy.
moved to San Francisco and I was there for 10 years, I realized at one point, I'm like, I am 4 blocks away from one of the secondary concert bands. It's a theater in San Francisco where like all the metal bands came through and the rap bands came through. So if you weren't playing at the big football stadium, you were playing in this joint. So I started being able to walk down there, just walk from my apartment, go see a metal show, walk back with many beers involved in the interim was just the best. And I went to see, I honestly can't remember who the hell these guys opened up for, but I saw this band called Maylene and the Sons of Disaster. And they call it swamp metal. So there was this, like, they look like good old boys who just strap on some guitars and go to town. And the singer, and I can't remember his name right now, but it was one of the top 5 individual musical performances I've ever seen. This guy came out in like this patch leather outfit, so like different colors of leather with a jacket. And he just came out and like 1 foot up on the speaker and just belting it. And I was like, whoo. Oh, Dallas Taylor, who has since had a car accident and has had fallen some tough times. But Dallas Taylor was outstanding. And I'm going to play a little bit of this for you. I have to stop it and start it so we don't get our live stream screwed up. But this is just, I listened to this I would say for a period of 5 years, this was my opening song. When I sat down to write, I would kick off this song and then let iTunes go where it made. You got the banjo, buddy. So we'll just skip through. I got to get to the chorus. The choruses. And this is Mr. Dallas. It's so good. And they redo Deliverance.
You can turn it up a tiny bit.
Oh, I can? Okay. Not too loud?
A little bit. There you go.
Okay, I got to pause it and let me skip forward. So I just want to get to the chorus because it blows me away.
This seems like a fun trip.
My cousin, I may tell my cousin about swamp metal. They should redo their look.
They should.
Feel swamp metal-y. Okay, so now we go back to Maine. That's all I can show because we'll get dinged by YouTube. But that's a very, very high note, you guys.
Yeah,
and then to add that gravel and intensity to it, which I'm trying to learn how to do right now, is it just I'll cut it short. Spectacular performance. I went out and I am a fan of you guys. Just happened to see them open for another band.
Hey, Buzz. Nice to see you out there.
Hey,
So
Buzz.
if you heard Scott say it, Maylene and the Sons of Disaster in 2017, the lead singer Dallas Taylor got into a horrific car accident and survived it. Barely. And he's coming back. And I think Maylene and the Sons of Disaster are coming back. So if you listen to their music and you like them, please do the social media following thing because it means a lot in 2022 since their entire existence stopped to take care of Dallas Taylor in 2017.
Joshua Loya says, sounds like they'd be amazing live. It was one of the weird things. I saw them the first time they came through and they blew everyone else. Professional acts, multi-platinum acts, they blew them. They owned. I went to see them again a year later. They were terrible. So the internal mechanizations of a band, the life of being on the road, things going on in people's personal life. He just was not. He was not the same guy. It was very interesting.
And if you guys, so J.R. Murdoch, nice to see you out in the chat room, is a local writer in San Diego, is a friend of ours. He mentions that the heavy metal scream is highly underrated with how hard it is to sing. And if you guys are people who like to get in rabbit holes on YouTube, friendly rabbit holes on YouTube, not conspiracy ones, go to YouTube and Google the heavy metal grandma. And the heavy metal grandma was a voice teacher who figured out how to do that vocal scream so that people could sing it without actually damaging their vocal cords. And so she's this little bitty grandma, and there's these big metal dudes that come to her for help, and it's beautiful to watch when you can see.
And Dr. Danny Baker has pointed out, I do have a bass guitar named Swamp Thing, which is made out of swamp ash. And you guys, if you have musical suggestions, send them to info@emptyset. I'd love to see. Zach Kirkpatrick says, how long does it take graphic audio to do one of your books? Because it seems like a long time for them to get the newest one recorded. Well, there's a couple things going on there. Number one, I only recently learned this. The books are not truncated. What's the word? Abridged.
Abridged.
The books are abridged. They can't possibly do that whole thing with a full cast. So they boil it down to what they think. It's their interpretation. They boil it down to what they think is the most important stuff. Then they schedule it. They cast it. They get everybody to record it. I can't tell you how long it takes because I don't want any of the heat. I don't want that business. I don't want to do that. That's not what we do. So more power to them. Let them do their thing.
Hey, Bruce Press. Nice to see you
Joshua
out there.
Loya says, sounds like there's a little bit of the Guns N' Roses Rebel vibe to Maylene and the Sons of Disaster. It is such a unique thing. They came straight at, we're making heavy metal, but it's all deep South, rural. There's none of the LA glam. They went anti all that. So it's just a really, really interesting. And all of their stuff, they've got incredibly spooky, moving music. I dig them. All right.
I will also say the graphic audio, it is fair to them to say that when we put out Fitzroy and it was audible only in December of 2020, we had a contract for 1 year Audible exclusive. They already had a right of first refusal for Mount Fitzroy. So they had a right to take it. And we called them and we said, hey, listen, if you do this, if you put these things out together, this will be detrimental to our business plan. Here's what we'll do. And they worked. They were wonderful and they worked with us. And they did it while they were being acquired by another company. And so we love to work with them. But I have to be honest and say recently maybe the delay is not about
could be us.
them.
Yeah,
it could be us. And it is. I couldn't let it go and let you think that they were not on the ball because we asked them to take a little bit of a break. And they did it just so that our business would survive. So love them to death.
Author J.R. Murdoch in the house saying that they sound like Crowbar. I may have to get caught up on my Crowbar. I'm not sure on that. Okay, we got about 10 minutes left. Let's go to see what other questions we have. Yeah, graphic audio does do, Joshua pointed out, graphic audio does a lot of DC and Marvel adaptations. They are very busy. I hope they're making money hand over fist. Stephen, I am learning how to sing sort of like that without losing your voice. It's so incredibly complicated. The biggest thing I've had to learn about singing and this seems so counterintuitive from being a metal guy since I was like 6, is not projecting. You're not kicking out an enormous amount of volume. My friends from high school will know this. I'm a very loud person, and I still am trying to sing too loud. And like the part of not having your throat get torn up is not singing that loud. So I'm working on it.
Well, but one of the things that you weren't really, you were a musician, you were a smartass, you were all those things in high school. You weren't exactly a theater kid.
No.
And that is one of the things that theater kids, join me wherever you are at home, theater kids understand how to project instead of just scream into the microphone, and you use a different part of your body when you're doing that. And that's the thing he's actively learning now. So my favorite part of this, other than getting to hear him sing, and sometimes if I'm on a Zoom with my friends, they can hear it as well, is he'll come downstairs and I'll be like, that was awesome. That's the best you've ever done that. And he'll be like, why can't I do that all the time? And he'll be mad at having done a beautiful, great job. I don't understand.
Gordy Keith says, learn to do business without losing your voice. I'm not sure that's ever going to happen. Unless I can learn it. I mean, if I might be able to do that.
Yeah, maybe.
Because it's always been a throw like this, motherfucker, dicker, pricker. But if it's, you got to put it up here like, motherfucker, dicker, pricker. Still don't have it, but Chris Grawl's the theater kid ruined by the Army.
Mm-hmm, for sure. I can see that about you.
I did not know that.
I can see that about you, Chris.
Awesome. That is awesome.
This is why you were so good with Zeus when he comes at you.
All right.
Because you're like,
so we've got a few minutes left. I may have missed some questions. So if your question didn't get answered, put it in there. We'll answer it. 4X. I love the Who. HU, the Who, Mongolian throat metal. Dr. Dana Baker, you do not need to comment on that. It's Mongolian throat metal. It is awesome. The other band that I've just been friggin' mesmerized with is called Bloodywood. You
love Bandmade, but they're quite different.
Oh my God, Bandmade
love
is the
Bandmade.
shit. Bandmade is a all-female, highly technical metal band from Japan, and they all dress like maids, which has nothing to do with the music, but it does. That's how they got the
their
name.
title, MAID.
But they are just insane. Let me see if I can find this. Oh my gosh. Okay, so hold on. I'm gonna.
Also, since today was Candy Day, since it's a stressful day, while he's doing that, I'll vamp a little bit. As I already said.
Hold on. Hold on.
Glorious.
There may be very loud. I'm trying to the volume. Here we go. Hold on. And okay, go ahead, babe.
Chewy Nerds, Glorious. Obviously, Reese's Pieces, favorite, and Reese's Peanut Butter Cups, favorite in the house. However, I'm not sure where these came from, but these are pretzel M&Ms, and they are insanely good.
These guys.
Carry on.
These guys are frigging incredible, and they bring some instrument choices to metal that I've never heard in metal before. I'm going to get dinged on this. I've never heard metal like that in my whole life. And all of their stuff just friggin' they kill. And the guitar player's very good. The singers they got two singers. They got a screamer and a rapper. And it's fantastic, fantastic stuff.
And here's the thing. If you guys are seeing this and you notice and somehow don't know this, I'll just say, because you should get to know both art forms. If you don't understand that Bloodywood is a namesake of Bollywood, which is the Indian film industry. Both of these genres of artistry are important, and you should enjoy them both. Go check it out.
Okay, one more quick snort of these guys. Wait, I got to give it a pause so you can hear the chorus. Give it a pause. And they got another cut called Ari ARI space ARI. Awesome. So that's some of my favorite. That's some of my favorite stuff right now.
And I will say, if you are
Brian, that's
watching
correct.
on the SIGLERinPLACE live stream, the photo or the video is a little bit cut off. If you go and look up Bloodywood on YouTube, often there are subtitles that are translated to English. So once I heard Rammstein's I Hate
Rammstein.
Children,
I've been getting into Rammstein a ton.
which turns out to be about a kid on an airplane.
Keep that quiet.
you should go listen to the lyrics too, because it's this big, heavy sound, and sometimes they're relevant lyrics, and sometimes they are not.
All right, so tonight we have shared with you guys the fact that I am slapped about the face in midriff with deadlines. Thank you, baby. Shared a little bit of the music with you. So if you are just tuning in, that the bands to check out are Bloodywood, Maylene Sons of Disaster, Bandmade. I miss any?
Until March 15th, Superweapon. Go to bit.ly/superweapon.
Let's get that bad boy back
Yeah,
up.
Superweapon. I think it might be Superweapon just alone, or it might be Superweapon Award. I can't remember what it is. There it is, SDMA. So Maylene and the Sons of Disaster, Bloodywood, Bandmade, and obviously go vote Superweapon until the 15th. You can vote once a day. We would appreciate.
Now this I can play. You can't take this down because I control the band's YouTube channel. You can't take it down. Let's throw that right in there. We'll play. Whoop! Hold on, too loud.
That's a little loud.
Sorry.
So you guys, thank you so much for all your kind words about office hours. All the same things are true. We want you to stay safe. We want you to stay science. We want you to read the news and decide for yourself what's important to your health. And we want you to absolutely take care of yourselves, love each other, come back next week and see us. If we have an office, if we have an Sigler in place next week, it'll almost assuredly be in office hours. You will know early in the week whether or not we're doing it, because we'll be out of town.
We're going to go out on a literal high note.
All right.
My cousin hit a very high note for this song. Let's see if we can cue it up for you.
We love you guys. Thank you so much for hanging out with us.
That's worth voting for, people. That's worth voting for every day through March 15th. Please help my guitarist. He's a starving guitarist, and all he wants is to win one San Diego Music Award. And if he could just find that, please, sir, may he have more votes, sir. May he have more. Every day you can vote.
Daryl Harris, so nice to see you out there. Please say hi to Jenna for me as well. You ready to go, babe?
Yes, this is the first time I've been in a good mood all day, because I've been having words kick me in the taint all day long.
That's all you guys. So you guys, we say it all the time. Being out, we started this SIGLERinPLACE a thing at the beginning of the pandemic to offer something back, but we get it back in spades as well, and this is a perfect example of that. So we love you. We hopefully will see you next week in an office hours, or we'll see you 2 weeks from now. For the next few months until June has come and gone with a very big new deadline. It may be a mix of office hours and SIGLERinPLACE, but hopefully we can entertain you guys anyway.
Bring up the Brandon Sanderson Kickstarter next time we do one of these office hours. Just absolutely amazing stuff. Game-changing, industry-changing stuff. We would love to chat about that. But until then, let's go back to... I don't know if the camera's set up.
You can just do this. Say goodbye. Look, they're right there. They're all right out there.
I have to turn it off, though. So
right. You got to be able to see.
This side. So I'll set up. I'll look this. All right, everybody. Go vote for Superweapon. Goodbye.